you're thinking about auditioning for a pro or semi-pro cheer or dance team, you might be wondering what the audition process actually even looks like. Because from the outside, it can look like dancers just learning choreography and performing. But the truth is, pro cheer auditions are actually a multi-stage evaluation process that could include anything from dance to interviews to media day to even test on your knowledge of the sport or team. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through some of the rounds you might experience at a pro cheer audition and what judges are generally evaluating during those stages. Hey there, I'm Sadie, Community Director for Sideline Prep, and we help dancers and cheerleaders preparing for professional and semi-pro dance and cheer auditions from the NFL, the NBA, to other professional leagues. If making a pro team is one of your goals, make sure you subscribe to this channel because we share audition tips, prep strategies, and insider information to help you feel confident walking into auditions. Now, before we jump in, it's really important to understand something. Every team structures their auditions a little differently. The rounds I'm going to talk about today are just examples of what could be included in the audition process. And they are not in any particular order, and not every team includes every round. So that's why doing your research on the specific team that you're interested in is so important. At Sideline Prep, we actually maintain an updated NFL and NBA audition schedule every season so dancers can stay informed about things like audition timelines, prep classes, workshops, and audition dates. So if you're serious about auditioning, that's a great resource to stay in the know. So the first part of auditions I want to talk about is registration and making the best first impression. The audition process actually starts before you ever even dance. Most teams require you to register ahead of time and submit materials like a headshot, resume, and/or application questions. For some teams, this part of the process may also include virtual submissions where dancers submit photos, videos, and/or application materials online before being invited to the next round. And once you arrive at auditions, whether that's in person or later in the process, judges and staff are already observing candidates. This is your first impression moment. Your professionalism, confidence, and overall presentation matter right from the start. So be prepared to submit a headshot and sometimes a full body photo, resume, which could include a cover letter, answer application questions that would include your basic information like name, date of birth, address, but also could include things like why do you want to be a part of this team, your availability, and information on your dance and cheer background. Now, one of the most common rounds you'll see in pro cheer auditions is, I think you can guess it, learning choreography. Now, depending on the team, this could happen both in person at auditions or through a virtual choreography submission where dancers learn a routine and then submit a video. But regardless, you're being hired as an entertainer, so it's a no-brainer that choreography will be seen throughout the entire audition process. You will typically learn a combination that can span from just a couple of 8 counts to a full-on field or court routine. These are usually learned the day of auditions if they are in person, but sometimes teams will teach a piece of the choreography at prep classes, which is why we stress to dancers to do their best to make as many prep classes as possible. This is such a huge advantage. Once choreography is learned, you will then perform it in small groups. This is where judges start evaluating things like how quickly can you pick up the choreography, your performance quality, confidence and projection, style and musicality. It's not just about doing the steps correctly, it's about how you perform them. Now, throughout the audition process, teams will typically make cuts. This means some dancers are eliminated while others move forward to the next round. Cuts can happen multiple times throughout auditions, and they may occur after in-person rounds or even after virtual submissions, depending on the team's process. This part can definitely be emotional, but it's also a very normal part of the audition experience. If you are cut from an audition, I want you to remember Janine's famous words, and that is, no does not mean never, it just means not right now. It is actually statistically more possible for you to get cut than to actually make the team. I want you to think about it. A team can only have anywhere from 24 to 32 spots, give or take, and there could be anywhere from 100 to 200. I've even seen auditions get up to 800 and 900 candidates at a time, and that's a very small percentage of people actually making the team. This is not to discourage you or intimidate you by any means, but to remind you that you can be a very good candidate, but depending on what the team is looking for that year, how many spots are available, diversity and other logistics, you can easily get cut from one team, but that no does not mean that you are a no for all of the teams. And this is the perfect time to gather feedback, evaluate your performance, and start training for the next time. So if you do get cut, be sure to check out this video on the exact email I sent after I got cut from a team I auditioned for, so that you can possibly get some clarity on what got you cut so you can come back even stronger the next year. All right, let's move on now. As auditions continue, dancers may be asked to learn additional choreography or perform again in smaller groups. But as you get further along in the audition process, judges are often looking more closely at things like consistency, energy and stamina, performance under pressure, because by this point, the dancers remaining in the room are usually all very strong. Some teams also include rounds that evaluate freestyle and technical dance skills, and this allows judges to see how dancers move without choreography or how comfortable they are performing on their own. This can look like a full freestyle round where you go in small groups, freestyle for a random number of 8 counts, and then cuts are made. And sometimes freestyle can be at the beginning, the middle, the end of a choreographed routine, or even across the floor. Same for technique. There could be a round that is technique across the floor, or you have to perform specific technique before you perform, or it may be in a routine. There can be many variations of showcasing your unique style and technical ability throughout the audition process. Another round that some teams include in their audition process is a solo round. In this round, dancers are typically asked to perform a short solo that they've prepared ahead of time. This gives judges a chance to see your personal style, strengths, and individuality as a dancer. Unlike choreography rounds where everyone is performing the same routine, a solo allows you to showcase what makes you unique, whether that's your technique, performance quality, musicality, or overall stage presence. Some teams may have dancers perform their solos live at auditions, while others may ask for video submissions earlier in the process. This round is another opportunity for judges to see how confident and comfortable you are performing on your own and how well you command the attention when the spotlight is on you. Now, some teams also include a knowledge test or quiz as part of their audition process. Now, this is designed to evaluate how well candidates understand the organization they're auditioning for, the sport or the league, and the responsibilities of being a professional cheerleader or dancer. These tests may include questions about things like the history of the team or the organization, basic knowledge of the sport or the league, community or ambassador responsibilities, and expectations for representing the organization. I've actually been part of an NFL audition where I had to name all 32 teams, what division they were in, and what conference they were a part of. Now, most teams don't require that in-depth detail in their tests, but it's always good to be prepared. And at the very least, you should know what conference and division your team is in, and the other teams that are within that same conference and division who are your competitors each season. But the goal of this round is to make sure that candidates are not only talented performers, but are also knowledgeable representatives of the organization and the league that they'll be representing. This is a really great example of why researching the team you're auditioning for is so important. Next, for many professional dance teams, there is also an interview round. Some interviews can be held virtually over Zoom, while others are held in person. It is more common to have an in-person interview, which can look very different for many different teams. A panel interview, one-on-one interviews, or simply just answering a question or two before you perform. All of this is just a reminder that professional cheerleaders are not just performers. They are representatives of the organization. Teams want to see how you communicate, how you present yourself, and how you would represent their brand. Which leads me to another round that some teams include in their audition process, which is Media Day. This round is designed to evaluate how you present yourself in front of the camera, because professional cheerleaders and dancers represent their team not just on the field or on the court, but also in marketing, social media, and community appearances. During Media Day, dancers may participate in things like on-camera interviews, short promotional videos, photo shoots, social media style content. Judges and media staff are often looking at things like your confidence on camera, personality, professionalism, and overall presence. This round usually happens in person because teams want to see how you interact with the media team and how comfortable you are in that environment. It's yet another example of why preparing for pro cheer auditions isn't just about danceability. It's about presenting yourself as a well-rounded representative of the organization. Many dancers don't realize that this round exists until they experience it at auditions, which is why preparation beyond just dance is so important. Finally, after the audition rounds, teams usually select finalists who move on to the final stage. Finals are typically held in person, where judges make their final evaluations before actually selecting the team. For some teams, this means actually making the team right away. And for others, dancers are invited to a training camp where they continue to learn routines and are evaluated over several weeks before the final roster is selected. This is usually where Media Day, interviews, and solos can take place. But again, every team is different, so be prepared for those parts of the audition to be at any moment in the process. The biggest thing dancers need to understand is that pro cheer auditions are about much more than danceability. Judges are evaluating the full package: performance, professionalism, confidence, personality, and how you represent the team. If auditioning for a pro dance team is one of your goals, preparation really does make a difference. And at Sideline Prep, we help dancers prepare in every aspect of the audition process, from choreography and performance, to interviews, to photos, to resume, to nutrition and fitness, to mindset, and presenting yourself confidently in auditions. So if you're interested in learning more about what we can do to help you on your journey to going pro, shoot us an email at info@sidelineprep.com and we can help narrow down the perfect program that works specifically for your needs. And if you want to stay updated on upcoming audition timelines, make sure you check out our NFL and NBA audition schedule that we update every season. If this video helped you better understand what to expect at Pro Cheer auditions, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more audition prep tips. Until next time, on behalf of Sideline Prep and all of our Sideline Prep coaches, we wish you success in all that you do. Make it a great day.